In this tutorial, I want to show you how to create an automatic calendar. What I mean is, when I select 1 month like this, automatically everything is refreshing. You can see that the date has changed. Here, for the public holiday, it's in red, and the weekend has changed. Another test. Let's go to July. It works again. But before to start, let me tell you this. There is not one solution, but two. One with macro, one without macro. What is the difference? Here with macro, I have added object from the tab developer. This one, from control combo box. But without macro, it works as well, like this. But here, there is just a data validation from data here. There is a lot of differences between the two solutions. The first one is a formula to calculate the date, because if you use data validation or the object drop list, it's not the same formula at all. Second, if you want to clear your data of the data of the previous month, you cannot do that with data validation, only with macro. Imagine I put one here to say that my employee worked these 2 days, and I use the same here with macros. So here, without macro, I go to August. My data are still here, but with macro, the data have been deleted. So, before to watch this video, it's important for you to know if you want to build a calendar with macro or without macro. But this video is only dedicated to the way to build a calendar with macro. Let's start from a blank workbook. Control N. So first, what I have to do is to insert two control here. Developer. Let's start just with one. Here what I want to do is just to insert the months here. For the moment I have no months, but I'm going to create a list with a fill handle. And the same for the year. Press Ctrl, extend, I create my list of dates. Great. So now I want to link this object with my list of months. Right click, Format Control, Control, Input Range, it's where I have my data, this one. Cell link. So before to explain you what is it, let me just select the cell A1 like this. What is a cell link when you have this object? In fact, when you select 1 month, the cell link will return the value of the element selected in the list. So March is the 3rd element. If I select July, it's the 7th. December, it's the 12th, and so on. And January, it's the 1st. And now for the year. And cell link, I would take this one. So once again, if I test, okay, it works. At this step, I am able to create a drop-down list with the value of the month and the year. But now, how can I use these two information to create my first date? Well, very simple. I just have to use the function date. So let's say I want to write my formula here. Equal date. So the function date expects first the year, the month, and the day. So this is the tricky part, because here I have selected 2015. But here I have the value 1. If I select A2 like this, what is the year I have? The year 1. Make no sense. So what I have to do here is to add 1 plus 2014. Why 14? Because 1 plus 2014 equals 2015. That's logic. What is the month that I want? This one is very easy. It's A1, the value of January. And what is the first day that I want? Simply 1. So as you can see here, I am able to create the date of the 1st January 2015 according to the value of the drop-down list. And if I change the value, if I select now April, automatically this value has changed. Again, if I select 2016 here, I have the date of 1st April 2016. This is a really great step because now I'm able to build my first date of my calendar with information inside the drop-down list. And to extend this date for the rest of the month, it's easier. So how I can do that? In fact, it's so simple with Excel because 1 is 1 day. So I just have to select the previous day plus 1. Like this, and I extend till I reach the last day of the month. Okay, like this. We have now all the date for our calendar according to the drop-down list. Now it's time to customize our calendar by changing the format of the date and also the orientation of the text. So how can I change easily the format of the day just to have, like in my previous document, the first 3 letters of the day and the number of the day? Very simple. I select all my dates. I go to Home. I select the format number and go to More Number Formats. Here I'm going to customize my date by saying DDD to have the first 3 letters of the day, and once again DD to have the number. Like this. Now the orientation is not the one I want, no problem. Like this. Now I select all my columns and I reduce all of them in just one action. Very good. Now let me insert the employee name. And the border. And now I color the background. Believe it or not, the job is almost done now. What I have to do now is just a simple conditional formatting with a formula to detect if a day is a weekend or not. So, how can I know if this date is a weekend? There is a function weekday. The first parameter is the date, this one, and the second parameter, it's a value to say if the first day of your week is Sunday, Monday, or 0. I always work with value 2 to say that Monday is the number 1. Enter. So what I have, it's 5. And if I copy this formula, you can see that I have 5 for Friday, 6 for Saturday, 7 for Sunday, and 1 for Monday, and so on. So here, what is the test for the conditional formatting? It's very simple. I just have to test if the value returned by the function weekday is greater than 5. I show you. So I return here, and my test is, does this formula is greater than 5? False. Okay. I copy this formula just to show you. You can see that here Friday is not a weekend, but Saturday and Sunday are a weekend, so this is why I have true. So very easy now, I just have to copy this function in a conditional formatting. I select all my range of data here, conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula, and I paste the formula I have created with an equal here. And what is the format? I will fill that in red. OK, OK. Ooh, I made a mistake, but it's easy to correct it. What's wrong here? Here, in fact, in my formula here, it's B8, but there is no dollar. In fact, I want to do my test only on the row 8, where I have my date. So I must put a dollar before the 8. Here, like that. I press OK, apply, and now I have exactly all the weekend in red. I don't need this anymore. And I just adjust all the column for the same size, like this. And it works. So if now I select another date, May, July, it works. One thing I didn't do for the moment is to insert the public holiday. No problem. I'm going to import from the other workbook the public holiday of United States. How in Excel you import easily a worksheet from a workbook to another one? Very easy. You drag one workbook on the right side, this one. Here is my worksheet for public holiday. I click, drag and drop, press Ctrl to copy, and that's it. I have copied the content of the worksheet from one workbook to another one. So now, if I want to highlight this date in orange, for instance, what I have to do? I have to create another conditional formatting just for this rule. But this time, what I have to do is to know if on this column I have found one of this date. For that, I'm going to use the function countif. So now, once again, I write my test here, equal countif. I select my range here with F4 to lock the reference. And what I have to look is if this date is included. And here, once again, I have to put the dollar, but just before the 8 this time. Like this. 0, no. But if I extend for 4th July, it doesn't work. Yes, I know. It's because here I am on the date 2017, and here in my document it's 2016. But if I put 2017 here, it's 1. So this is my test. I have to know if the value returned by the countif function is greater than 0 or no. So again, if I want to know if it's true or false, greater than 0, I copy. Just extend one more time to show you. True. So my test works. So I have now to copy this test in a new conditional formatting. I select my range of data here. Conditional, new rule, paste my formula, but here watch out, I must be not on E8 but B8, very important. I select one color, let's say purple, like this, and it works. I can a little bit change. Another test. Let's take January. January, there is 2 public holidays in the United States.
We have nearly finished now. What we can do, but it's not necessary, is to create a title where we have the date from the beginning of the calendar till the end of the calendar. And to do that, we are going to use the function text. So here, for instance, I select this area and I merge it. Merge and center. Here, what I want to have is the first and the last date. So very simply, I'm going to create the function from space ampersand, and now I'm going to create my function text. Why the function text? It's because I'm going to convert one value here in a format text, exactly like the date we did. So here from day, months, and the year. Like this. And I close a parenthesis. So you can see from 1st January 2017. Of course, if you want another format, you can just change this parameter. And to complete the formula here, and space 2. And here it's tricky because what I need is the last date of the month, whatever, it's February, March, April, whatever. And to do that, there is a function end of months. Text, end of months. Start date is this one, and it's the current month, so 0. And the text is the same. Let's try. So now if I select February, it works. Now, before to start to create the macro, I want to put these two job lists here in cell A1 and A2. Like that, I will cover the value and also hide the construction of the calendar. So to do that, right click, like that I can move it. And also I reduce. But to be sure I am exactly in the cell, there is one option in page layout, align, snap to grid. So like this, I will be automatically adjust to the cell. Now it's time for us to create the macro. As you can see here, in February, the last 3 columns are not necessary because we are on the month of March. So we have to create the macro to hide this column and also to clean the calendar when there are previous data. So let's start with previous data like this, here and here. And now what I'm going to do is to activate the macro recorder. That means each time I'm going to do an action in Excel, this will be converted automatically in VBA language. How to start the macro recorder? Here. Automatically I have a dialog box. I keep these settings. OK. Now you can see the icon has changed and now it's a square. So what I want to do here, I want to select the column that I don't want, like this, right click, hide. Also, I want to unhide this column, like this. And also what I want to do is to clear the content. So I select all my range of data, home, clear content, like this. And that's it. Now I can stop the macro recorder. And now it's time for me to open the code. So if you have the developer tab here, you just have to click on Visual Basic, or as you can see here, you have also the shortcut Alt F11. And this is a code generated by the macro recorder. And as you can notice, it's not very difficult to understand. You have first here the column AD till AF dot select, means you select the column. And here for this selection, you hide. There is something you can do here. You can clean a little bit the code because you have here dot select and after selection. So finally you can reduce it like this. You have your column and you apply the action entire column and you do the same for the next row and here as well. So here we can easily notice the 3 actions we have done. First we have hidden, after we have unhide, and then clear the content of our area. So, if in your workbook you don't have exactly the same range of cell, it's not a problem. When you will use the macro recorder, it will adjust exactly the clear content or the hide and hide in function of your workbook. But here I have a problem, because as you can see, the reference of the colon is directly written between two codes. So that means it will be always the same reference. And what I want here is to change these two parameters by a variable. And for that, I'm going to create a loop. And this is the final code. Look, it's very easy to understand. You can find exactly the same two actions to hide or unhide like we did previously. But here I have replaced the reference by my variable. My variable is in a loop for next. And the variable will be from the row 30 till 32. There is a trick to know that. In fact, you can change the setting of Excel, option, and in formula, you check this option. And now you can see the letters of the column are replaced by a number. So in the case of February, you can see that here I have to make a test from this column and not before, till the column 32. So my variable will run from 30 till 32, and for each loop I have to make a test on the cell A1, so cell it's row index and column index 1 1, and what is the value of A1? It's, in that case February, that means 2. So I make a test between the value of A1, 2, does this value equal the months of the row 8, 30 here? In that case, it's not true, because here the month will be the value 3. So in that case, I will do not the first action, because here the test is equal, and we know that the value here is 2, and here will be 3. So I will do this action, that means I will hide the column, and so on for the column 31 and 32. At the end of the loop, I will clean the content of my area. Okay, the code works. But now how I can link this code to my two objects, my two job lists? Very simple. So I close the Visual Basic Editor. I go here, right click, assign macro. I have only one macro here. Okay. And I do the same for the year. Okay. So now if I test for April, where I have 30 days, you can see that I only display 30 days and the column 32 is not visible. I return to February. The row 30, 31 and 32 are not visible. And now if I put value here and I go to the month of March, I display all the day of March, and now my calendar is clean of value. And that's it, your calendar is done. So now the demo is over. See you soon for another tutorial about Excel.